Good evening, and welcome again to Pumping Up with Hans and Franz, the informative training program for achieving financial success.
Once again, I am Hans.
And I am Franz, and we just want to pump
you up.
Hey, how you doing? Hans Schaff here, coming to you late night here on late Thursday, or actually Thursday morning. Sometimes I like to go to the gym real late at night, and just to kind of, there's nobody there in the gym. Let my thoughts kind of flow. I like to listen to some good mind feed, and tonight I came across a really great call. And in the bottom of my blog post here, I'm going to try and link to this call. If you can, get on this call. It's only going to be available for another few days, but it's just a great call, very inspirational and just very real. And that's what I want to share with you here today. Today I want to talk to you about failure, about struggles, about difficulty, about overcoming challenges. Everybody's got challenges and failures in their life. You see some of these top leaders, the guys that are making $100,000 a month or even $10,000 a month, and you think, their life is so easy. Why can't I have a life just like them? And you think that it's because of your struggles that's keeping you where you're at and keeping you from getting where you're at. And the truth is, it's because of your struggles that will allow you to get ahead. It's because of your struggles and challenges in your life that will allow you to succeed. And I'm going to give you some examples. I first got involved in the industry of making money back when I was a college student, a freshman in college, back in actually last millennium, 1999, 13 years ago or something. And and I'll be honest with you, I struggled for a long time. Now back then, granted, it wasn't as easy as it is today. As far as you actually had to go out there and talk to people. We didn't really have the internet. Cell phones were the latest thing. The internet was not really being used commercially. It was more just to kind of get some information. There wasn't really a good way to connect with people like there is today. And I struggled. I struggled a lot. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many flyers I've passed out. I can't tell you how many pizza meetings that I went to where I had to foot the bill for a bunch of college students to give them free pizza just to lure them across, to get them to listen to an hour presentation just so that I could hopefully get one or two of them to sign up for my deal, pay $400 or $500 so I can make a $100 commission, and hopefully pay for the pizza and pay for my flyers and have $20 left over. That was my goal, and to be honest with you, that hardly ever happened. I don't know how many times I passed out flyers. I'd go to Kinko's in the morning, spend an hour, making these. Actually, I'd spend the whole night before trying to create this real clever ad. I'd have this quarter sheet piece of paper. I'd spend hours and hours. The same way people spend hours on Facebook is the way I would spend hours trying to critique and perfect this ad. And I figured if I could just get the right ads, right verbiage on this ad, I could draw everybody. And I could get a higher response. I could get more people to sign up. Well, it didn't matter. Again, the key is exposure. But I would spend hours every night trying to think of some clever new ad, some new pitch, some new phrase to try and get people to come to my pizza meetings, buy pizza, and hopefully sign up. I don't know. They thought the pizza was real good. And they wanted to join me. And I struggled. I didn't make hardly any money those early years. I spent a whole lot more money than I ever made. In fact, I can tell you candidly here that there was a promotion where I was going to miss out on a window where it was going to get much more difficult in order to create or to get to the next promotion level, which would mean if I ever did sign somebody up in the business, I would actually make $100 more if I could get this promotion. It would take probably 6 times more results for me to get this promotion if I didn't get it within like a week or two period of time. So what did I do? I called up all my friends, bought them all in the business, bought all their products for them to get them all qualified so I could get qualified to the next level. That's how I was able to get my promotions. That's what I had to do. I had to spend more money than I actually made on getting those promotions. It was a losing proposition. I think I lost $3,000 as a college student. I maxed out all my credit cards, and it was tough. And I'll be honest with you as well, because of those early mistakes, those foolish financial decisions that I made thinking I was getting ahead, because I had this burning desire to really want to be successful at this business. I really wanted to make it work. I believe in it. So how do you do it? How do you turn your problems, your struggles, how do you turn those into profits? Is it really that simple? And the answer is yes, because you got to think about it. Wherever you're at today is exactly where you're supposed to be. If it weren't for the struggles and the problems that you have today, you wouldn't develop the character, you wouldn't develop the experiences, you wouldn't develop the ability to have success without going through these struggles. I sincerely believe that the more struggles you are put through, the more challenges you have in your life, the bigger purpose you have for your life, the more important of things that you are supposed to accomplish in your life to impact that many more people. And here's another great way to look at it. Because I've faced many challenges in my life. A lot of them are self-imposed, granted. I came from a good family. I had a great upbringing. I got into a good college, and I could have continued on and probably gotten a good job. But I fought the system. I wanted independence. I wanted freedom. And because of that, there's a lot of problems in my life. My parents always wanted me to continue on with my education. I dropped out of school. They did not like that. I borrowed money in order to fund my businesses early on from when I started back in college. And, I struggled. I failed for years and years and years. So many challenges I could just tell you about. I mean, I've, robbing Peter to pay Paul, having to take money from this credit card, max it out, pay the minimum just in order to keep it going, keep the credit alive for some reason. And, had cars break down on me. And, I remember one time in England being, I was a college student, virtually, had, no money in the bank, living off credit. And I was, in a foreign country, halfway around the world. I had spent money to buy a BMW that didn't really work. It was a 1985 325i. Never forget it. Loved the look of it, but it was a death trap, is what the mechanic told me after the fact. And it broke down on the middle of an English country highway at 2:30 in the morning. I had to call my girlfriend's parents to wake them up, to get them to come out and basically pick me up, help me call a tow truck, because I didn't know the laws. I didn't have insurance properly. I wasn't an English resident. I mean, I struggled. I had no money. I didn't know what to do then. I had to get bailed out. I had to borrow money on credit cards. I had to max out credit cards, get student loans, get into a whole bunch of debt. All these problems, all these struggles that have made me who I am today and have allowed me to do some of the things that I've been able to do in my life. And believe me, I continue to face challenges and struggles every single day, but it makes me a stronger person. And I'll tell you, one of the best things that you can do is when you're suffering from a problem or a challenge, first of all, never ever say, well, it can't get any worse than this, because it always will and it always can. You've got to put a bottom to it right then and say, okay, you know what, that's it. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to stop the rain from pouring down and start attracting. You got to interrupt the pattern right there and then, because realize you are attracting these things. They're not happening by random. You are attracting these things into your life. Turn it around and to start attracting what you want into your life. Focus on the things you want to turn it around. And just as fast as challenges and problems are coming to you, they will turn around and go the opposite direction if you're focused and sincere and really believe that they will. But sometimes it can be hard when you're stressed out, when you don't have money in the bank, when your bank account is negative, when your phone's been turned off, when they're threatening to turn your power off, when they're threatening to come take your car because you haven't been making the lease payments. I've been there. And it is not fun. But I'll tell you, it's those experiences, it's those challenges that make you real. Because other people can relate to that. You're not the only person that has had these challenges and these struggles. Having those challenges and those struggles makes you a real person. People can identify that if you will share those things with them. Don't wallow in your self-pity and want people to feel sorry for you. That's not the point here. The point is you want to share these struggles and then share why you went through that and what you're trying to accomplish, and you will create a fan base. People will want to know. It's just like a reality TV series. Think about the stuff you see on TV today, all these reality TV shows, and you think, who really cares about this stuff? Then you watch it for 5 minutes and you find yourself, enthralled and trying to figure out, why is this so popular? And sure enough, you find out because they're just being real. They may be idiots, but they're being real. They're laying it all out there. And you think, who would say these things? Who would do these things? Well, that's what reality TV is. And you can be your own reality TV star of your own life if you will share it. On video is a great way to connect, let people see that you're real. You have real problems like they do. And before you know it, you will develop a fan base. You will develop a following because people, they always want to root for the underdog. It's hard to relate to someone who's making $100,000 a year, or a month rather, if you've never made that. If you're nowhere near making that, if you don't believe you can ever make that. To hear from those kind of people, you're thinking, yeah, well, whatever. They're different than me. They don't know what it's like. They can't relate to my problems, my situations. They don't have challenges. They don't have problems. When in reality they do. It's just you can't relate to them because you're in a different place in your life. So where you're at right now is where the majority of Americans, where people in the world are at, struggling to pay their bills. If you're credit cards are maxed out, if you're, having trouble keeping the lights on, putting food on the table, keeping your wife or your family or your husband happy because you're just stressed out of your mind all the time because maybe you're unemployed, maybe you're employed but you can't make enough money to cover the bills, and you're just running out of time, running out of expenses, you're not alone. There are so many people out there just like you. Realize that story will allow you to connect with people, and you can leverage your story to help you get success. Finally, use those miserable and terrible experiences, use them to actually profit, because by sharing those stories and telling people where you're at and where you want to go, people will relate to you and they will follow you and want to join you because they will understand that you're real just like them. They can relate with you, and people enjoy following people who they feel relate and that they can connect with. So use that to your benefit. And lastly, let me share with you as well about this. When you're in a really bad situation, think about it as this is going to make one hell of a good story someday. In fact, I'd encourage you to write it down. All the particulars, the more details the better, because the more you can share these stories with people, and when you're in that mindset, instantly you change the mindset. Because if you can think that way, when you're in the worst situation, you think, you know what, this story's going to make me thousands of dollars someday. I'm going to record this on video in 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever. People are going to hear this story and they're going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. And if you can have that particular mindset, you will turn all your problems around right away. So try and do that. And anyway, just want to share with you, leverage your problems. Don't let them beat you down. Don't think you can't get to where you see other people are, because they were exactly where you were. Everybody starts somewhere. And wherever you're at, that's where you're supposed to be. Start where you are. Use those problems, use those situations in your life as leverage. Share them, let people understand that you're a real person and you too can achieve success and achieve your dreams in your life in a lot faster than you think even possible, because of the leverage that you're able to use with video, with the internet, with systems like the Empower Network, etc. So anyway, great call I wanted to share with you as well, that kind of brought this idea to light here and kind of refreshed my memory about this concept. Years ago I had always thought that, I'm going to write a book on how I became a millionaire and do it before when I was in the dumps, when there was no chance of success, because it would make for one hell of a story. I never started it. I should start it today, because I'm not a millionaire yet and I'm along my journey. But, if you use that idea, take that yourself. Go ahead and start where you're at today. Write down exactly where you're at and start writing that down. That can be the beginning of a novel. That could be a best-selling novel that could make you millions of dollars potentially, of how you went from, this incredibly difficult, destitute, poor, whatever your situation may be today, however bad or however, average it may be, how you went from that with no idea how you're going to become a millionaire. You started there, and write your journey. Take notes, take a diary of where you at, and when you become a millionaire, you can put all that together and sell it, and you'll make a whole bunch of money. Because what a brilliant idea to have the idea, have the vision that you're going to be a millionaire prior to even having or knowing how it's going to happen. That's kind of a crazy mental loop. But to actually be able to do that and say you did it, not to go backwards and say that you did it, but actually do it with the date and have so much vivid detail that everyone knows that you're telling the truth, that that's exactly what happened, that will be a bestseller. I guarantee it. So you can go ahead and steal that idea. I don't mind. I forgot to do that years ago. I always talked about it, never did it. So go ahead and you can profit off that idea. Hans Schaff here, The Real Hans. Just want to share with you ideas on how to leverage your present circumstances, your present or past problems and struggles to help you succeed and actually make more money in the future. So Hans Schaff, The Real Hans. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.